everyone. Why don't we call the meeting to order and start with the roll call?
Member Winton, Member Tinsley Smith, Member Talley, Member Starr,
Here.
Member Dr. Regina Randall,
Present.
Member Luckman,
Present.
Member Lanto, Member Joyner,
Present.
Member Hughes, Member Garcia, Member English Barnhill, Member Douglas,
Present.
Member Daub,
She is present, but she was saying she didn't have audio.
okay,
And I think she was going to log out and log back in.
okay, noted. Member
Thank you.
Crawford,
Present.
Member Cash,
Here.
Member Carter. I did see her on.
I did too.
Member Carter, Vice Chair Gator,
Present.
Chair Roberts,
Present.
Member Carter. You have a quorum present.
Okay, fantastic. Moving on to the next item.
Item B, approval of the October 13th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second to approve the October 13th, 2022 meeting minutes?
Motion, Member Gator.
And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to the next item.
Item C, Chair's remarks.
Okay, I am going to move these down to the bottom of the agenda, if that's okay. But just a few things real quickly, I guess I will say. Has our guest has joined us? Our speaker?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Can I move the chair's remarks down to under updates from committees and work groups? Underneath that.
Noted.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item.
Item D, unfinished business. There is none listed. Moving to item E1 under new business. Guest speaker, Luz Viviana Mesa, Director of the Economic Development Department, Wayne County, speaking on programs and initiatives that support women in Wayne County.
Okay, real quickly, I would just like to welcome our guest speaker, Director Mesa. She is going to take some time to talk with us about, as the agenda says, some programs and initiatives within the Department of Planning and Economic Development. And Chair Bell and I had talked after the last meeting and just wanting to bring more speakers to the Women's Commission to learn more about what is taking place within Wayne County at the different department levels as it relates to women in Wayne County. And with that, I would love to turn it over to you, Director Mesa, and let you introduce yourself, share some information about you and your role, and of course, about some of the things going on in the department that support women in Wayne County. And thank you so much for being here today. And just to let the members know, she's going to speak for about 15-20 minutes, and then we will open it up for questions and discussion. And then when we are finished with that agenda item, she's going to hop off and we will continue with the rest of our agenda.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. You can call me Luz. Luz Mesa. I am the Director of Economic Development here for the Wayne County Economic Development Department. I have been with Wayne County for just over 3 years. Previously, I worked for the City of Detroit, the Economic Growth Institute at the University of Michigan, and a couple of other places. But really, I'm passionate about the community. I grew up in Southwest Detroit, went to Southwestern High School, so very passionate about equity and economic development, both when it comes to how we are supporting communities that have been historically disinvested in, but also how we support key populations in our communities that oftentimes our programs, aren't built to support. That often means, minorities, but also women, and especially women in the labor force who oftentimes have a harder time, entering into the labor force and maintaining employment due to childcare constraints, among other issues. So I'm really very passionate about this work, and I'm excited to be invited here today because I think the work that you all are doing is very significant as well in continuing to promote the well-being of women in the county. So I'm going to pull up my presentation. There you go. Let me know if you can see it all right.
Yes.
Perfect. So again, I lead the Economic Development Department, and the Economic Development Department includes a number of divisions that are supported by my department. That includes the Economic Development Division, which focuses more on the business development end of things, the Community Development Division, which focuses on very community-based work and support for families, the Buildings Division, which manages our county buildings and any county properties, and then we have some very close interaction with the Wayne County Land Bank as well. So I'm going to start talking to you all about our work over the last few years. Through the pandemic, we had a very key role in supporting small businesses in the region. I'm very proud to say that Wayne County stepped up very early on in the pandemic. We were the first government entity in the region to launch any sort of financial assistance with a loan program in partnership with Huntington Bank. But soon after, we launched a small business grant program and then supported the MEDC, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, in implementing their grant programs for the county. So we know that in Michigan, women make up 47.7% of workers and own 43.2% of our businesses. We also know that racial minorities make up about 18.1% of workers and own about 15.2% of our businesses. One of the other initiatives that we're currently really focusing on is through our Wayne County Small Business Hub. We're featuring a list of registered small businesses with information about their location, their hours, and any holiday specials as part of, as you all know, the holidays are a big opportunity for us to support small businesses as part of our small business or shop small strategy. We have this listing available where local small businesses can go list their information. And in addition to this, we feature them on Wayne County or Wayne County Economic Development social media. We create these graphics for them, and we share them for folks to learn about deals that are happening through the holidays and learn about some of the local small businesses that they could support during November and December. So we'll be running this campaign. Again, with the Wayne County Back to Work program, we had about 3,261 businesses that received grants from the county at the height of the pandemic. That ran in 3 rounds, and it totaled $51.5 million to small businesses. This is 100% county funded. We recently did outreach to all of these organizations, and we learned that 85% of the businesses we supported through the pandemic remain open in 2022. I will say, of the proportion of those that are not included in this 85%, there was a good chunk of folks that we were having a hard time reaching. So there's a combination of businesses that either moved out of the county, closed, or simply we had a hard time getting a response to the survey from. 37% of the grants that were issued by Wayne County were issued to women-owned businesses, and 100 of those businesses were in the child care industry, totaling about $1.5 million in assistance to that sector. Another program that we're very proud to support is the Health Choice Insurance for Small Business program. We know for small business owners and for employees of small businesses, health insurance is always a concern and an issue. We know that small businesses are finding they need to be more competitive in terms of offering benefits to their employees. So this program was jointly developed by Wayne County with the goal of stabilizing healthcare costs for small business owners and reducing the number of uninsured folks. The cost is $250 per employee per month. It's a zero deductible health plan, and it does have an option for vision and dental. You can see here the website healthchoiceofmichigan.com. Small businesses can go and register there for this benefit. Additionally, we work with a number of partner organizations across the county who we consider are really our point of contact in supporting our small businesses. And we're really proud to work so closely with them. This includes the Arab American Women's Business Council, Techtown Detroit, Prosperous, Build Institute, the Accounting Aid Society, the Great Lakes Women's Business Council, the Metro Detroit Black Business Alliance, and Michigan Women Forward. These organizations are far more specialized in the work that they do to support small businesses, everything from capital readiness to help with marketing or social media. And we're able to work with them to connect small businesses who are looking for services. This is it for the small business section. Anyone have questions here before I move to housing?
Director, I'm gonna hold questions till the end because I just
Okay.
want you to be able to get through the presentation and then we'll open it up.
Perfect, thank you.
though.
In terms of housing, we have a number of programs. We mostly support projects with funding for community-based programs, and we worked with all of our municipalities. We have quite a few to engage with, and we support a lot of their initiatives, but we also have this porch repair program, which is specifically targeted for the city of River Rouge, and it provides repairs for the front porch that include roofing, steps, and railings. It is for owner-occupied single-family homes that are in good standing with their property tax and mortgage payments. And they still have room for a couple more applications. It's a small program, very targeted in one of our historically underinvested communities, but you all can find more information at waynecountylandbank.com. I think that's /programs/porch project. The next one is our emergency rental assistance program. This program is really at its tail end, but still accepting applications today. We've been running this program for just over a year. The county was allocated $32 million in federal funds for the American Rescue Plan to run this program specifically. We are estimating that we're going to be closing the program in about 5 days. So if you know of anyone, it's really important that they apply. And that is simply because we're reaching the end of that funding. We have enough applications in our queue that we think we'll be able to expend on those funds. But certainly, anyone who needs assistance at this time, we can provide assistance with rental arrears, current rent, security deposit assistance, utility assistance, and that's mostly energy. And then there's an internet stipend that folks can apply for. From the emergency rental assistance program, we've served over 4,500 Wayne County residents with rental assistance. 70% of those assisted were Black or African American, and over 70% of those assisted were women. This makes a lot of sense, I'm sure, to all of us. We know, for most of the time, it's women who are looking for resources to continue supporting their family. Anyone who's hoping to apply can apply at waynecounty.com/rental assistance. And that's on our Wayne County website. And I think this is the end of my presentation. Oh, nope, there's one more. I don't know why I wasn't going there. Let's go. I know I was missing something. And so here are some opportunities, right? The last few years, I think we were all in panic mode. And the Economic Development Division and Department has spent probably the last 6 months in a strategizing stage of thinking of how we continue supporting our Wayne County community beyond the pandemic. And so some programs that are coming soon and that have been approved at this point by the Wayne County Commission. The first one is our workforce development program. We are investing $50 million in strengthening our workforce and providing support to the folks most in need. There are 4 programs that will be nested under this project that include the subsidized training and employment program to support folks who are looking to upskill, but can't do it without leaving the job that they're currently at. So this will allow us to pay folks while they're going through training and find them opportunities to, earn as they learn. And also in some cases, we'll have some private sector partners who will allow folks to learn on the job. The Career Navigator program is kind of going to be more of like a social work related support process where folks will be able to visit one of our workforce centers and get one-on-one support, helping them, take next steps in meeting their career goals, whether that be accessing training, getting help with childcare, whatever the case may be. That will be like a one-on-one social work type of engagement. The Return to Work program is a program that's going to be more on the financial assistance end of things. It is geared to helping people who had to leave their jobs during the pandemic, if it was for childcare issues or any other constraints, and it will assist them in returning to the labor force by providing assistance with childcare and assistance to fund transportation. The last one is the Underrepresented Workers Assistance Program. This program really is geared at the populations that oftentimes fall through the cracks when we're building programs. So all of these programs are great and can help a lot of people. This program is meant to serve returning citizens. It's meant to serve folks with disabilities, folks with language limitations, and immigrants and refugees who might have a hard time navigating the systems. So this program is really targeted to making sure all of those populations can find a place within all of the other services available. The next program that we're going to be launching soon is our sustainability program. That's going to have 2 components, both of which are really important to our Wayne County community. The first one is the Resiliency Hub Network. It's going to be a network of community serving facilities prepared to support residents and coordinate resources before, during, or after any natural or COVID-like disasters, right? And so we all know that when these things happen, people really don't know where to turn, and they all look to their government entities, but it's always hard to be there on the ground where they are. So we'll be funding a network of partners who will be providing services and creating those relationships with the community to provide services before anything bad happens, but where some of our organizations will already be connected to the community in the event of any natural disaster, to support them through that process and to carry out the resources available from the county and to those communities. The last program that we have under this sustainability initiative is more of an internal program, and it's an energy efficiency program. And we're really looking at analyzing the county's carbon footprint, looking at where we can improve our impact on the environment and really start kind of showing our commitment towards resiliency and a better environmental future for our county. Any questions?
Okay, thank you so much for that presentation. It was really great. Thank you. And the PowerPoint is always very helpful as well. Do you think that is something that we could email out to the members after the meeting, just so they would, be able to go back and look at those resources and have those links?
I will most definitely send it to you all so you can look at all of the resources.
Okay, great. And if you want to send that to me or Clerk Spivey, we'll make sure that it gets out to all of the members. And I'm going to go ahead. I have a couple questions myself, but I'll go ahead and open it up to our members. And I'm just going to ask our members to allow Clerk Spivey to keep track of who has their hand up, and she will call on members as the hands were raised. So Clerk Spivey.
The first hand I saw was Member Callie.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Actually, Sarah addressed my question. I need a copy of that presentation. It was amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sarah, for requesting that. I just need a copy of the presentation.
Sure.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
I really enjoyed the presentation. I'm always happy to learn. And I'm interested, Madam Chair, in having her come be a vendor at the Women's Intergovernmental Resource Fair.
Okay, I'm sure that's something that we can follow up with her about and talk about.
Member Carter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have one question about the resources, all of whom you talked about today, I think are very valuable to the community. My question is are these services only available by reaching out via your website, or is there an office that someone can visit? Is there a phone number? Because I know some of the services are not available yet, and it's been an issue with trying to actually make that connection, especially the ones that need assistance with their rent.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I actually, I'm really happy because really that's the intent of our Resiliency Hub network, to be able to connect folks in person, one-on-one. The county doesn't fully have that capability at this time, but we're trying to add. We do have a few places. I will say for the rental assistance program, and I'm going to pull it up right now. We do have a call center where people can call and get support that way, as opposed to just having to navigate the online process. And I'm gonna put the website in the chat if that's helpful, and I will also put the phone number for our call center in the chat.
Great, thank you. Member Carter, did that answer your question? Did you have a follow-up?
No, that is fine.
Okay.
Thank you for the answer.
Anyone else? Okay, I have a couple of questions. So I know that these programs that you covered today really are open to anyone in Wayne County that has needs, and I really do appreciate where you were able to identify like percentages that were supportive of women in Wayne County. Have there been discussions about any potential future programs that would be specifically geared towards women? Whether it's through economic development, business support, anything like that?
Yeah, I would say, because of our role as a county, we do aim to serve the county as a whole in terms of always looking at markers that allow us to serve folks who need the most support. We haven't necessarily built any programs that are exclusively for women. However, we do often make sure that we're doing the proper outreach and building in the right safeguards to make sure that the programs are accessible to all. We work with a number of organizations that do focus on supporting women, and we're very thankful for the work that they do. Organizations like Michigan Women Forward, the Great Lakes Women's Business Council, and the Arab American Women's Business Council. So always looking for opportunities for us to engage with groups on a very individual level. But, unfortunately, it's very difficult to create programs that are restrictive from a government perspective.
Sure, and certainly when a lot of those dollars are coming from the federal government or the state government, it's hard to restrict those dollars unless they are specifically geared towards supporting women as well. Do you have any recommendations for us as the Wayne County Women's Commission, how we can be helpful to the efforts that you're helping lead in the department in terms of ways we can get this information out, or just other ways that, we can be supportive.
Yeah, I would highly encourage any of you who lead community-based organizations to stay on the lookout for the RFP for the sustainability hubs, because we're looking for community-based partners, especially in some of our vulnerable communities, to support and serve as those hubs and connectors. We're really, our strategy over the next few years focuses on getting resources out, and we appreciate you all for bringing that capability through this network as well. We always welcome the invitations to events. I heard one was communicated here, and my team would love to go out and any programs available at that time, be able to advertise and provide on-site support for folks looking for resources. But feel free to connect with us. I think everyone got my email, but I'll put it in the chat as well. And reach out if we can be of support, if you're hosting an event and we can come out and support, or if you're looking for any resources. We're very accessible and happy to respond.
Great. And one last question before I'll turn it back over to Clerk Spivey, because I see a couple more hands raised. But does the department have like an email list that we can join where any type of updates or regular updates come out about programs or services or events?
We don't currently have an email list. However, we do have a number of social media platforms that we're very active on. I think we have a link that takes you to all of them.
Okay. And if you actually could just include that link in the email with the presentation, then that way I can make sure that gets out to everyone, and then each member individually can choose whether or not they want to sign up, follow or join on the social media opportunities. Thank you so much. Clerk Spivey, I see a couple hands raised.
Member Crawford.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My apologies for not being on camera, getting to a stable location. The question that I have is, we have a lot of people who ask for assistance or grant assistance in regards to home repairs that you mentioned, porch repair, but are there any other resources available or out there that could assist homeowners with other imperative repairs?
Yeah, we do have a very small home repair program. It's my understanding that currently it's not taking applications because we think we have enough applications to expend the funds that we have. But that every so often becomes available. I'm going to get more information on that one, and I'll send out where you can find more information. But those are, those become really complicated. And because our department is on the smaller side, running programs like that require us to have, construction folks on the job to, support the process as folks are going through that, is a little more complicated. I know for the city of Detroit specifically, there are home repair programs and zero interest loans for home repairs available. And I think those are run through third parties. I highly recommend looking into those for folks in the city of Detroit. At a Wayne County level, our program is really small and kind of works on, a time period basis based on funding.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
Member Carter.
Thank you. One last question for me. There is a resource list of some sort, I believe, that Chair Bell created some years ago. Is that the same place where the information you refer to is referenced? And that same reference location, is that inclusive of all opportunities within Wayne County, including perhaps job resources, etc.? Is that all part of a private section, or is that kind of like by department?
I'm not 100% familiar, or I'm not really familiar with the resource from Chair Bell. I'm sure it's very comprehensive. However, I haven't seen it, but I'm happy to contribute to that resource if we can, or provide any updates to Chair Bell as well.
Yeah, I think she was doing that before the pandemic. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time for coming to our meeting today and sharing this information with us, answering our questions. And I'm sure there's going to be follow-up, not only from me, but from some of our members.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. I will be sending resources over to you all in the presentation from today. And if I can be of any further support, of course, feel free to reach out.
Great, thank you so much. And feel free to hop off. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Okay, moving on to our next agenda item.
I'm sorry, I was on mute.
That's okay, it happens to the best of us.
Item E2, update from Wayne County Commissioner Melissa Daub.
Okay, I spoke with Commissioner Daub and she had indicated that she didn't have an update for us today. And we also have a number of things that we want to get through and trying to keep this in an hour. So we're going to move on to the next item.
Item F1 under updates from committees, work groups, bylaws committee, Chair Douglas.
Okay, Chair Douglas, I'm going to turn this over to you to talk about the bylaws.
Thank you, Chair Roberts. Through the chair, I just wanted to let everybody know you should have received a copy of the bylaws, but there were a couple of changes that were made since yesterday because of a conversation with Commission Counsel, as well as the Chair Bell and Pam Lane, who is the Commission Clerk. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to amend Articles 5, Section 6.1, and potentially 6.4 with the following amendments. Article 5, as it relates to officers. So the changes are officers and terms pursuant to Chapter 177. Members of the Women's Commission shall elect one member to serve as chairperson and one member to serve as vice chairperson, and officers shall serve 1 year. Procedures for electing officers. Do you want me to go through all of this? Well, it's just one section.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key point to go through is just the change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there were a couple of changes. So
Okay.
the procedures for the electing officers is the biggest one, and
Okay.
that's section 5.2. So number A, letter A is members wishing to join to run for chair or vice chair must submit a letter of interest via email to the clerk of the commission no later than close of business on the last Friday of April. B, the clerk of the commission will forward all letters of interest to the full Women's Commission the following Monday after receipt of letters of interest. C, election of officers will be held during the May meeting of the full Women's Commission. D, each candidate shall have a 2-minute presentation in support of their candidacy prior to members casting their vote during the May meeting. E, members shall vote on each officer. All candidates for the office shall be included in the initial vote. Officers shall be determined by an affirmative vote or a majority of members serving. F, so the voting options will be selected during the organizational meeting. The options are as follows. Voting 1, for election of officers shall be conducted via roll call voice vote conducted by the clerk of the commission. Voting 2, the election of officers shall be conducted anonymously via a voting system selected by the clerk of the commission. Member G, members must be present to vote. Proxy voting will not be allowed. H, the chair of the commission or designee shall preside over the election until the chair and vice chair are confirmed. The next item, 5.6, temporary presiding officer. I had a discussion with Chair Bell and the commission clerk as well as commission counsel. And so the updated version is as follows. This is not on the version that you received earlier because we had the conversation yesterday, and I apologize for that. And it reads, in the event that neither the chairperson nor vice chairperson is able to preside over a meeting, the chair of the Wayne County Commissioners shall designate a member of the Wayne County Women's Commission to temporarily act as the presiding officer for that meeting. On to section 61A. April meeting of the odd year appointment will be known as the organizational meeting. B, the chair of the Wayne County Commissioners shall preside over the first meeting or meetings of the Wayne County Women's Commission until the chair and vice chair are confirmed. And then depending on what is approved today, 6.4 for voting will read, all votes must be made in a meeting and conducted in a manner that allows participants to know how each member voted unless specifically otherwise stated within the bylaws. And then that is my update. And again, I apologize for last minute changes due to a meeting that was held yesterday with the chair and council and the clerk as well. So I again make the motion for the amendments on Article 5, the sections that were stated, and section 6.1.
Okay.
Support, Member Gator.
Okay, we can have support for those, but we are going to open this up for discussion. And I have a couple questions. So first, I want to thank Chair Douglas and the member of the Bylaws Committee. They have been working on this for several months. They have really taken a lot of thoughtful time in working through some of these challenges that I think were a part of our initial bylaws. And just those challenges coming up through time and realizing, you know, like when we had our first election, we didn't really have an organizational meeting. We didn't really know who should be running the meeting. And so we all had a conversation that we just really wanted to make it as clear as possible for future commissions to have guidance and to make sure that there was more clarity around the next time there is an election and how those elections would proceed. Because if there is a chair of the Women's Commission and if they are running for chair again, they shouldn't be running that election. They shouldn't be running that meeting. It should be someone else. And so I just want the members to know that a lot of time and thought went into this. And again, Chair Douglas, thank you so much for the additional time that you put into speaking with, you know, Felicia, the Corporation Counsel, and Mary Parisian, and working with Chair Bell and helping figure this out. This has been a multi-step process. There were some changes that were updated, I believe, 2 meetings ago. So everyone had received a copy of those bylaws. The bylaws went out this version a week ago. There were a couple updated changes, but I don't really believe that there's anything really outstanding here that should be of a conflict. I just have one clarifying question before we open it up to the membership. And that is under section F, under Article 5, I appreciate that the way that the vote will take place, whether it's a roll call vote or the vote taken anonymously, will be decided by that commission in terms of how they want to run their election. But then under 6.4, and I'm sorry, I don't know if that's the same article, but it was where all the votes will be known how they vote. I'm just wondering if that's in conflict with F.
So to answer your question, it is not. It depends on how the commission will vote at that particular time. So if it's an anonymous during the organizational meetings, if they choose to have a roll call vote or if they choose to have the anonymous vote, it would not be in conflict. But I just want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the committee. I'm so sorry. I was trying to get through before everybody had to leave for lunch, but I just wanted to thank, of course, Member Starr and Member Lugman for all their work. And of course, Chair Roberts and Commission Counsel, Chair Bell, all of them for their participation and input. And if it wasn't for all of them, we would not have this document that we have today. So I just want to say thank you all for your hard work as well. I could not have done this without you all. So again, thank you. And I apologize for not saying that at the beginning. So again, answer to your question, I don't believe that it would be a conflict if it's voted on today, because then however it's voted on, that would determine if it's going to be anonymous or not.
Okay, gotcha. And I do want to say that the bylaws are always a fluid document. And so at
Absolutely.
any point that a member believes that there should be an amendment to the bylaws in the future, the bylaws committee is a standing committee. They will only meet as needed and as necessary. But any member at any point can bring something forward, to the committee, and they can review it and discuss it. And then as a committee decide, if action should be taken on that or not. So it's not like this is final and this is the way it's going to be forever. It's just, this is where we're at right now. And I think it's in a really good place. So with that being said, Clerk Spivey, I think some members have their hands raised. There might be a couple questions, and I'd like to open it up for discussion.
Member Carter.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Just two things. Are you able to email that to us currently right now, so that if we should vote today, we'll at least have it in front of us? I think as you read it, and it's kind of convoluted only because it's the nature of the document. So I would like to see what we're going to agree to and make sure that we get a copy of it, end up with a current copy. So in the future, we're prepared to act accordingly. So again, can you
I'm sorry.
email that out to us like right now, or because I'd like to vote on it after I get a chance to read it, and the body has had a chance to read it. So we're voting on something we know we're voting on, and then it doesn't come back. Well, I didn't really understand it, or I didn't read it, because obviously it didn't, because it's not available. So I'm just saying, if you could email it, if it's prepared at this point, or we can wait until the next meeting if that's what you prefer.
So it was my understanding that it was emailed with the agenda package. And I'm not sure if Clerk Spivey can email it to the body again. But I'm gonna let Chair Roberts take this.
You said you made changes yesterday though, correct? That we don't have
Right.
that up. That's what I'm referring
Oh,
to.
okay.
only.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
All right.
But I can let you, there was only one change from yesterday. But the rest of the document remained the same. It was only one change from yesterday. And I can let you know what section that is, if that helps. But everything else was the same.
Just send the final copy out because you would have the most updated version at this point.
If I can interject here, Chair Douglas, all of the changes that Chair Douglas shared with us today have been emailed out to everyone in advance, with the exception of one change that was made yesterday. And could you just read that change again right now for everyone?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the updated change is in section 5.6. Where it reads, it should now read, in the event that neither the chairperson nor vice chairperson is able to preside over a meeting, the chair of the Wayne County Commission shall designate a member of the Wayne County Women's Commission to temporarily act as the presiding officer for that meeting.
There's no problem with the change. I just want a final document. That's all I'm asking. No issues, no comments about the changes itself. It's just that we, with the same document. Because I'm not going to months from now. Okay, what was that change? All right, thank you.
Yes, it will be emailed out without question. It'll be emailed out. Clerk Spivey, I see Pam has her hand raised. I think I'd like to defer to her before calling on members.
Good afternoon to this honorable body. It's actually Mary Parisian. I'm having some technical difficulties in which I can't hear what you're saying on my laptop, so I am joining forces with Pam. However, I just want to be clear for my understanding of what is being voted on today. When we're looking at Article 5.2 Section F, when it comes to voting options, it's my understanding the body is choosing either option number 1 or either option number 2. So we just need to be clear that the body needs to decide one of those 2 options. And in the event the body chooses to vote for voting option number 2, then section 6.4 will change, because there is a conflict with the way 6.4 is written currently if voting option number 2 is chosen. So that would just need to be amended, but it depends on how this body chooses to vote. But one of those options needs to be chosen. Thank you.
I'm sorry, from our discussion yesterday, I thought that we were voting to leave both of them in, and it would be up to the incoming Women's Commission to decide during the organizational meeting which option they wanted to go for that year, for that voting year.
Okay, that's fine. Then it would just need to be changed in 6.4.
Right. That's why
Excellent.
I said it would not be a conflict if they chose one or the other, because then they would have that option for either one. And then the anonymous voting would not be an issue. So that's what I understood us to discuss. But
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
Member Crawford.
Hi, yes, thank you very much. And thank you for all of the hard work, Bylaws Committee. I have a recommendation because apparently, I know Member Douglas did a phenomenal job reading that. It sounds like to me, we have some people who would like, some members who would like to see things from a visual standpoint. Even though the language is the language, it can be emailed out, but to help make, for the sake of this meeting, so that we can, progress forward. I'm not sure if she's able through the chair to share the screen and what she's reading. It's a phenomenal job to the full committee again. But I just, for the sake of those who may need to see things from a visual standpoint, perhaps a recommendation of sharing screen would help at this point. Thank you.
Is that something that?
So what the recommendation is the one change. Mary, I'm going to let you speak.
We have 2 changes that are presented to this body today. Article 5 is changing, and also 6.4. The language in 6.4 will now read, let's see. All votes must be made in a meeting and conducted in a manner that allows participants to know how each member voted, comma, unless specified otherwise, period.
Okay.
Those are the 2 changes that are being presented to this body today. Thank you.
Okay.
If I may, I'm sorry, if I a 2-part to that. Thank you for reading that as well. But I know it's going to be emailed out, but just, I'm not sure some people, for the sake of time, if we could do a shared screen. I'm not sure. If not, I'm fine with how it was read, but apparently we don't want things stalled.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, that's it. I'm just being real. Right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I know, and we've spent a lot of time on this, and
yes,
shared in advance. And I do understand that there's 2 changes that have been made, but I think they're pretty clear. They're not anything, I think, that are
thank you
of conflict.
Should I share my screen? Is that what everyone wants? Or
Sure.
Second?
Yeah, we'll do it real quickly because I think we can vote on this today.
Ooh. Okay. Hold on one second. Sorry.
No, thank you so much for doing this.
All right. here we go. There's that change. So this would go away. This right here would go away. And this would be the new sentence. So we can take that out. And then this would be,
Okay, and why don't you just read it to be clear one last time?
okay. In the event that neither the chairperson, nor vice chairperson is able to preside over a meeting, comma, the chair of the Wayne County Commission shall designate a member of the Wayne County Women's Commission to temporarily act as the presiding officer for that meeting.
Perfect.
Then the
And-
other change was here. And Attorney Parisian apparently has taken out this portion. So it reads, all votes must be made in meeting and conducted in a manner that allows participants to know how each member voted unless specified, unless specified otherwise stated. I know I don't, unless.
Just
Stated
take out the word
otherwise.
state. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there, sorry. And
Yeah.
members may vote by voice vote or roll call vote. So that speaks to the two options.
Yep. Okay, so is this,
Okay.
Mary, I just want to make sure that this is very clear that if a future commission decides that they want the votes to be done anonymously and they use like a vote tracking system, that this language is not in conflict with that.
It's through the chair to this honorable body, that's correct. It's
Okay.
not going to be in conflict with the change that is being proposed today.
Okay, so there is, there's, I guess, the port for the discussion. But we do need a motion to accept the recommended changes to the bylaws.
Madam Chair, it
Robert,
was moved and seconded.
Oh, it was moved.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was moved
okay.
in second, and then the
Okay.
discussion. So,
Okay.
sorry.
Through the chair, we have a hand up. A member has her hand up. Member
Okay.
Crawford.
Okay.
Actually,
So, but
I was gonna say, yes, I would propose a new motion, if that's what it takes, to support the changes that were just clarified and rectified before this entire body. So that's my motion.
Okay, well, there's an existing motion on the floor, Member
Right.
Crawford, but I think it covers
Thank
it.
you.
I think it covers it. It's to support the recommendations
I can't.
made for the bylaws, right? Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Wait, sorry. Trying to raise my hand.
That's okay. Okay.
So
Member Douglas.
as the maker of the motion, thank you, I'm sorry. I still got a turn. As the maker of the motion, can I accept Member Crawford's friendly amendment to the motion?
Well, she was making a separate motion.
I think it was a friendly amendment, but okay. We'll go right ahead.
Okay. I mean, whatever you like. If
No, it's whatever to buy. I'm just trying to keep it moving. I'm just trying to keep it moving, but if I can, I would like to accept Member Crawford's friendly amendment to the motion that was originally made, if that's acceptable.
Okay, then Clerk Spivey, can you read the motion with the friendly amendment? So it's clear for our minutes.
Through the chair, can we have Member Crawford state her amendment?
Yes, this is a Member Crawford. This motion would supersede the motion that was presented before with the friendly new amendments before this body visually to be accepted and moved accordingly. If that can be the motion.
Okay. We need, Clerk Spivey, I need you to read the motion that is on the floor that has been supported and seconded, which includes the friendly amendment.
Chair Roberts, are we able to have Member Douglas to repeat the motion and include the friendly amendment?
That would be wonderful.
Sure.
Thank
This is-
you.
Okay, so I make the motion to amend Article 5, Sections 6.1 and Section 6.4 with the friendly amendment provided by Member Crawford to include the corrections that were made during the presentation of the bylaws. How's that?
Support.
This
Thank
is Council Johnson. If I may interrupt. If you look at your document, we also have changes to 6.1 that was sent out to everyone. So I want to make sure we don't leave that out. I heard Article 5, I heard
Yeah.
6.4, also 6.1, which again is on the document that was sent out to everyone with those friendly amendments that were just discussed and put on the screen.
Attorney Johnson, I did say motion to amend Article 5 in Section 6.1 and 6.4. That was in
Okay.
my motion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, motion is clear. It has been supported and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you so much to the committee for all your work and everyone who was involved.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Okay, moving on to the next item. Clerk Spivey, I'm going to take a little bit of liberty here because what we ended up putting on the agenda was the Resource Fair Work Group, which is currently being led by member Dr. Randall. And the idea is that we just wanted some space for Dr. Randall to work with Vice Chair Gator and member Douglas to get some ideas together for this resource fair. And then the intent was to, I believe, create a committee around that and add more members. So what I have been told is we need a vote to create a work group or a committee. And I'm just wondering, I mean, at this point, I just kind of feel like it's Dr. Randall, member Douglas, and Vice Chair Gator just having some conversations to make some recommendations for a structure or for a committee to move forward. And so I'm not sure it's quite so formal that we need a vote. I think Dr. Randall just wanted to have some initial discussions, but I'd also like Dr. Randall to speak on that because I don't want to speak for her or speak inappropriately or in the wrong way.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I begin my brief report, I would like to thank Madam Chair Sarah Roberts for her support in this endeavor. The official name for this event is the Women's Intergovernmental Resource Fair. The acronym we're going to associate with the fair is WIRF. The date is April 27, 2023 at the Wayne County Community District Northwest Campus on Otter Drive. The event will be held in the Welcome Center. As we expand our planning and determine the necessary committees for the WIRF, the steering committee will then add committee chairs to the steering committee or the work group, whichever one you prefer. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Okay, can we, thank you so much for that, Dr. Randall, and I really do appreciate that you've put a nice framework together for us to work from. From an organizational standpoint, I would like to hear from Mary and or Felicia in terms of like protocol for organizing this, because I appreciate Dr. Randall wanting to have a steering committee and like subcommittees, but from our last meeting, we couldn't even find members to chair committees. And so I'm wondering if there needs to be your steering committee and then just everything kind of done through the committee of the whole, and to see where members are willing to step up and volunteer. We can certainly try to organize committees or subcommittees, but we are having, the truth is, a significant challenge with capacity with the members. And I am hopeful that in some ways we can all step up in some way and be helpful to make this event successful. I'm just wondering if we need to think about structurally how that's going to happen. And again, Mary or Felicia, in terms of just setting this and getting this, you know, more formally organized, you know, what is the recommendation for what we should do? And I'll go ahead and first allow Member Randall to speak, Dr. Randall.
I'm asking for, can we make this decision in December? The committee will be more organized, we'll have more things, you know, determined. And this is just this, I don't think we're ready to vote on anything at this point. We're just planning right now.
Yeah.
And but December, maybe that might be a better time, but not now. We don't even know what the committees are right now. So
yeah,
if you give us a chance to come up with that, I think it'll be a better time.
Sure.
Hopefully next month, for sure.
Okay, sure, no problem. I just wanted to make sure that Kirk Spivey and Felicia and Mary were aware that right now it's really just 3 members who are getting together and putting some ideas together and some structure together. And just for the sake of the meeting today, I called it the Resource Fair Work Group so that I could put them on the agenda so Dr. Randall could give an update if she had one.
Well,
okay,
thank
so
you
does that
so
work for
much.
everyone?
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right, so then moving on to the next item.
We are moving back to chair's remarks.
Okay, I'm going to be, you know, really brief. I just want to remind members that in December, we are going to meet in person at the Guardian Building. I will be talking and working with Chair Bell on putting that together. I'm thinking it's probably going to be something like a lunch again. And I know that there were challenges in the past in making that also a virtual meeting, and that just has to do with the space and the internet connection and the technology. So that meeting again is going to be Thursday, December 8th at 12 o'clock. And so if everyone can just make a note of that, and I'm just going to ask if you can do, you know, your best to be able to be present and to be at that meeting. I think it would be, you know, a really wonderful thing. The other thing that I just want to address is, you know, this commission is made up of like powerhouse, amazing women, and we're very fortunate for that. But the downside of that is most of us are also very, very, very busy. And it is just making it difficult at times to, you know, get some work done. And so there is no judgment in what I am saying, because we all have things going on in our professional lives and our personal lives. But I am going to ask members to, you know, just continue to do the best that you can to be present. If a member, you know, calls and wants to talk about something, that you return their call. If you say that you're going to be at a meeting, you come to that meeting, unless you send a communication, hey, something has come up and I can't be here. That we do the best that we can do in terms of communication and commitments, because we can only help improve the lives of the women in Wayne County if we make sure that we make some time to make that happen. So that is all that I wanted to say. And I thought we had a really great meeting today. And I'm looking forward to our December meeting and moving forward with this resource fair. And coming into the new year, you know, I want to bring some more speakers to our meetings. So with that, I see there are a couple comments. And so Kirk Spivey, I'm happy to allow members to comment and have discussion at this time if they would like.
Member Dr. Regina Randall.
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm just hoping that this time we can get a map of where the parking tickets go to. We had no clue. I see Commissioner Joyner smiling. She knows she was there with us, and Ms. Crawford as well. And we did not know which parking structure that the tickets went to. So we can get, you know, I'm 70. I don't use 70 as all of my excuses. Okay, so I need a map. I'm sorry. I need a map to see, because it's not the structure right across from the Guardian Building. It's another structure. So that's all I'm asking. We get a map as to where those tickets
Yeah.
belong. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Yep.
Member Douglas?
So, it's not related to what the event is. Can I make comments, or is it open floor?
Why don't we move on to
Yeah.
the next agenda item? Is that okay? Other such matters?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. So, Clerk Spivey, moving on to the next item.
Item G, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the commission.
Okay, Member Douglas.
So I just wanted to make a quick comment. Tomorrow is Veterans Day.
Mhm.
And so I just wanted to acknowledge women who have been serving in the military and who are currently serving and who have served. Women have been involved in the U.S. military since 1775, and originally in the civilian fields of nursing, laundering, mending clothing, and cooking. Deborah Sampson was one of the first women to enlist while disguised as a man. In 1917, Loretta Walsh became the first woman to enlist as a woman when she joined the Navy. In 1948, a law was made for women to be a permanent part of the military service. And in 1976, the first group of women were admitted to the U.S. Military Academy. Women have had to overcome decades of obstacles to get to where they are today, serving in the greater numbers in combat roles and in leadership positions all around the world. So today and every day, I ask the women of the Wayne County Commission to virtually stand and salute those women that serve currently and who have served in our military. Thank you for the opportunity, Chair Roberts.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if everyone is willing to do it, if we can just take, a moment of silence to think about and honor our women veterans, and certainly those who gave the greatest sacrifice while serving. Okay, thank you so much for that, Chair Douglas. That was important and meaningful, and I'm very glad that you brought that forward today. Okay, anyone else? Any other matters that should be brought up today? Okay. I want to thank all of you who attended today and participated today in helping us move forward. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Chair Roberts, we didn't cover public comment.
Yes, I'm sorry. And before adjourning this meeting, is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak? Anyone from the public who wishes to speak?
No hands are raised and no emails have been received.
Okay, well, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
See you Sunday.